Taking over a four-year-old, not a four-year-olds, but a program that was 4 years old. In 1981, our next inductee at that time took over a program that in those 4 years had won a total of 6 games. And Coach Andy Bisswurm coached Beaver Creek High School for the next 16 years in the girls soccer program. He never experienced a losing record. He accumulated a career record of 184, 95, and 32, quite remarkable. Clearly it was the hard work, as our picture relates, and very few coaches come out to practice with ties on anymore, but we think that Andy came directly from his job at Wright-Patterson to his coaching duties here on the fields at Beaver Creek High School. We'll talk about building a program and giving it a secure foundation. While WOL championships were not existent at that time, unfortunately due to a team called Centerville, Andy did take his Lady Beavers to the state Final Four in 1993, as well as to the regionals in 1994. His 95 team ended Centerville's run of undefeated WOL League games. Beaver Creek finished second in the WL League 8 times, and Andy was the WOL and Area Coach of the Year in 1993. Well, just as impressive as the talent that he developed were 6 All-Ohio players, 5 All-Midwest players, and 1 All-American soccer player. Please welcome Coach Andy Bisswurm to the stage.
I need to warn everybody, I'm going to take the full 10 minutes because I was here for 16 years. First of all, I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame committee for my selection, and it's an honor to be back at Beaver Creek High School after about a 19-year absence from here. I also want to congratulate all the other honorees this evening, and then the past honorees of teams that I coached throughout those 16 years. It was back in 1981, a friend of mine, Vernon Burke, told me that there's 2 soccer coaching positions over at Beaver Creek. The boys and the girls coaching positions were available. He said he knew what my background was. He said, why don't you go ahead and apply? I did apply, and at that time, Rex Warner, who was the athletic director, I interviewed with him, and he called me back. And he said, well, Andy, if you're interested in the boys' coaching job, you're going to have to be here after school for practice. And as was mentioned, I worked at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. I couldn't be available right after the school ended, so I said, no, Rex, that's not going to work for me. So he said, well, what about the girls' job? You think about taking that? And after thinking a little bit and being a very decisive married man, I said, let me check with my wife. I had a young son. My son Jonathan was born in 1981. I had a daughter, 6 years old. I was still active in the reserves, married and still working at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. So I had a lot on my plate, but my wife knew that my love was always playing soccer and coaching the game. So she agreed, and I took the job. One of the best decisions that I ever made. Why? The reason was, number one, these girls were so dedicated. They wanted to learn. They were extremely hardworking, and they were just tired of losing at that point. And they brought that out clearly to me when we started. The first year was a difficult year for us. First of all, I wasn't familiar with the other Western Ohio League teams. We had a difficult time. We didn't have very many players trying out. We barely had enough for the varsity and for a JV team. and we did not have a feeder team at all. And I remember some of the equipment we had was extremely old. I still remember asking, at that time, Bevan Garwood to dig out some sweats out of the locker somewhere so we'd at least have something warm to wear. I believe they were hand-me-downs from the cross-country team. And of course, the worst part about it, as I found out when I first started that first year, was there was a considerable lack for the Beaver Creek High School soccer program from the other teams in the league. One of the first games we played was against Chaminade Julienne, and I'll vividly remember the coach came up to me at that game, and he said, "Man, what's wrong with you? You taking a job over at Beaver Creek?" And he said, "Look, we'll take it easy on you. We're not going to run up the score. That's not our intention." I passed it on to the girls. We won the game. No one ever made that same mistake again, as far as Beaver Creek was concerned. I also needed to address the equipment issues, and a good friend and a parent, Bob Arledge, decided to garner some of the parents, and we then started a program called the Soccer Sidekicks. And I understand that it's still a program which is active today and providing support to the soccer teams, of the girls' soccer team here at Beaver Creek High School. We had many highlights, and some of the highlights were cited up here. I won't go through all of them, but I just want to let everyone know these are not my achievements. I never won a game while I was here at Beaver Creek High School. I was their coach, and my job was to provide the team with the skills, to provide the players with the skills, to develop their skills, and to put them in a position to be successful. And it was their efforts that made us successful through the years, the 16 years that I spent here. I was a demanding, I was a hard coach. I had many expectations, and when they weren't met, there were some tears along the way. But we also had some laughs along the way, two of which I remember distinctly. I never let our girls know that where I lived, because I was sure that I'd have toilet paper hanging over all my trees and bushes. And one enterprising team one year found out exactly where I lived and did exactly that. So the next day I came to practice, and I knew my players very well. And we're practicing out here. They were sitting in front of me, and all of a sudden I turned to Roz Richardson. I said, "Roz, did you paper my house the other night?" And her answer was, "How did you know?" And I said, "Well, I didn't, but I do know now." And so the next practice was at my house. And they were all over to pick up the remnants of whatever was left that I couldn't get to. I had about 18 players crawling around on my front lawn, picking dandelions and weeds out of there. And afterwards, my wife made them hot chocolate, desserts, and everything was forgotten at that point. One other year, I had another enterprising team that waited until the very end of the banquet. We had a tough year that year, and yes, some of my expectations weren't met, and I let the girls know it. And so some of the seniors decided that they were going to serenade me at the end of our banquet. They knew that I liked the Righteous Brothers, so their theme was, "You never lost that loving feeling." Yes, we had a number of laughs, but I just want to mention that all of the players, my opportunity was to again provide them with the skills to play. I did want to make sure that they also learned some lifelong lessons. Winning was not everything. And I wanted to make sure that they understood that these things that I was trying to teach them, these are things that you will keep for the rest of your life. That, success does demand some things. It does demand hard work. It does demand dedication. And so, and on top of that, Jed, you'll make friendships, friendships that will probably last you for a lifetime. And so these are some goals which were, to my mind, a little more important than actually winning some of the seasons that we had. It's my fervent hope that the coaches of today and the players of today, again, recognize some of the hard work that all of these players over these 16 years put in to develop this successful winning attitude here at Beaver Creek High School. And I also want to congratulate Steve Pop, who's the coach today, as well as the players of today for maintaining this winning attitude here at Beaver Creek High School and for starting their own legacy. And so in conclusion, I would just like to remind all of my former players and anyone that has ever stepped down the field for me, I would like to remind them that, no, I never did forget that loving feeling for all of them. Thank you.